夫は指先でチャートを切り裂くスマホの光が瞳に火をつけて今夜も始まるよ猿たちの配信準備はいいかって世界に投げてコインの波間を一緒に泳ぐんだアピアピぶち上げるライブジャンプジャンプ月まで届けワンツースリーで勝って打って笑って振り回る夜に未来をつかめアピアピ止まらないバイブス森の電車で夢を回せグレミーフランキーチーズボットとクリプトの嵐を今巻き起こせ
Yo,
What's going on, big dog?
not much G-spot. I love the fit. Fresh out of the shower.
Fresh out, dog. Fresh out. It was hot out there. Got cleaned up, dog. Showered off. Came to hang out with you fools.
Oh yeah. All right. Let me do my spiel and let's get to business here. Welcome to the 8th episode of the Whatever Show. Special thank you to the other side, Ape.8 and other games.xyz. Today, I wanted to mention if you would like to be a guest on the Whatever Show at some time in the future, shoot a DM to me or G-Spot. We'd love to see what people are building and set up interviews down the line. On our show, we want to showcase the most talented artists and builders in Web3, especially those building on Ape.8 and in the other side. When people make decisions on where they choose to spend their time, attention, and money, it comes down to knowing and trusting the faces behind the projects, or in this case, the Coda and the Dong Socks behind the projects. So on this show, we'd like to take a deep dive into our guests themselves and their origin stories. The Whatever Show is for people to learn about how artists and founders in the space found success and how to get started building on Ape.8 and the other side. So with that, I'd like to introduce our guests for today. Frostyz, founder of Other Side Wiki and the Fade Collection on Ape.8, and Dong Socks, founder of Dong Socks Collection on Ape.8. Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks.
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. And I love your microphone, Dong Socks.
Yeah, trying to stay on brand here.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Okay, so the first question I like to ask everybody, so for each of you guys, do you consider yourself an artist first, a founder first, or a developer first, and why? Either one of you guys.
I consider myself first a developer and then a founder because I'm actually a founder since 5 years or 6 years now already, but I always was responsible for the development part. I have business partners who helps me with administration stuff and also operation. But yeah, my strength is in developing.
Dev first, founder second. Okay. Dong Socks, how about you?
I would say artist, founder, and dev. I've been tinkering with all kinds of art for a long time. Painting, sculpture, wood carvings, all kinds of stuff like that for, at least like 15 years. So art first, and then founder with a funny project or two. And I have some serious ones too. Then the dev thing comes later. Don't have quite the technical chops, especially if somebody like Frostyz. This guy's incredible. But yeah, I'm here for it. The chain has got crazy talent, up and down the, all the skills and stuff, and I'm just happy to be in the middle of it.
Sweet. And we can get into your history as an artist in a little bit later. We're gonna start by interviewing Frosty because it's later in the night for him. But I've got questions lined up, but this is open forum. So Dong Socks, G-Spot, anybody want to jump in and ask questions, feel free to just cut me off. All right. So, okay, Frostyz. Can you walk us through your history as a developer then? When did you first realize that you were serious about development and that was going to be your path?
Serious web development. I started when I was 12, 13 years old. I wrote my first script for fun with PHP. I think it was PHP 3, so some time ago. Then I found other interests over the time, and then I think when I was in my mid-30s, mid-20s, he was one time right, and I didn't follow his way. But 2017, there was the 20,000 Bitcoin run. There I joined shortly before, I think in September, so 3 months before the top. And then I got hooked. So I was immediately starting with Ethereum, mining. So basically mining some shitcoins back then, just for fun. If I would have kept just the Ethereum, it would be a bit more smart. But yeah, so experienced my first high. Then 2018 low. Started my first project, which was about airdrops. Airdrop Bob, it's called. And so basically a website which provides affiliate links to airdrops. And from this moment on, I basically lived from it.
What kind of projects I know what projects you have going on now, but what kind of projects did you have between that first one and this point that you've been able to support yourself full time?
Just airdrop up all the time.
Wow.
It was running quite good because you had affiliates to Bybit, Binance very early. So you had like 10,000 users under you, which you get fees from. But I got kicked out from Bybit. That destroyed a bit my income source. But yeah, you always find new ways. And then with the other side, I started a new project.
Your start sounds like incredibly similar to my start here, at least with I joined during the 2017 run right around the same time. And then my first couple of years were dabbling with like mining, like a homemade rig, and then random shit coins from Ethereum. Yeah, so just how it reminds me of when I started. Do you have any, I guess you joined kind of like before NFTs were like a major thing. So like,
exactly.
I was going to ask what your favorite collections were, but were there any projects before NFTs came around that you were particularly interested in or fond of?
You mean projects in terms of tokens, or how exactly?
Yeah, tokens, or I guess tokens are probably most of what was around before.
Ethereum was always my favorite. So I was always Eve Maxi, always thought about the flipping. But till now we didn't saw it. But I still believe that Ethereum can get bigger than Bitcoin. NFTs, I was quite late. Even I also heard quite early from it. From my girlfriend, Julie, she's called. She got a ton of punks at $100. She also told us to buy some. But I didn't believe in this vision back then.
Well, first I want to just ask, why do you think that Ethereum can still flip Bitcoin?
Because it's money which you can use. Bitcoin is a store of value, which is perfect for that. But I think if you have programmer, so money which can take action on certain conditions, has, I think, a bigger scale for me.
That makes sense. So you said you found, you said it was through your girlfriend that you found the NFT space in general, but you weren't sold at the time of CryptoPunks. How did you discover Bored Ape Yacht Club, and when did you get involved with your mutant?
I discovered it quite late too. I think when it was in the middle of the run already. So when apes were like 50 ETH already, I saw them first. I really ignored NFTs besides CryptoPunks. There I had my automatical reminder that the floor is now 10 ETH, then 20 ETH, then 30 ETH. So the girlfriend was always pinging us. And yeah, otherwise I didn't look further. I minted some rugs before. And yeah, I think then in the middle of the run.
The Ether Rock, you said?
No, some rocks.
Okay.
So rock pools. But in the middle of the run, I think 6 months before the end, I bought a lot of NFTs, which was a mistake. I should have waited a bit. But yeah, good back holder now. And have my passion for other side found, which was actually at the end.
What about NFTs had you hooked once you finally gave them a chance?
What NFTs? Yeah, the big ones for sure. And Motherfuckers was one of my first, which I went heavily in. That was a good one for me. And a lot of small projects, which was more something from the punks community, which got forwarded to me. And yeah, some more like Kenny Schachter. I'm not sure if you know this guy. So some more of the European region, some artists and their collections.
So like largely getting sucked in through in real life artists that you knew of, or did you find them through?
Through friends, mostly.
Okay.
So
Spot, can you pull up the other side wiki link to Fade collection? Sweet. Can you tell us about your Fade collection on Ape Chain? Like, what's the concept behind it? How did you produce the art? What does it mean?
Fade was basically a concept of generative art, which just connects lines with dots in the smart contract directly. It was also connected with the tokens on Ape Chain. I wanted to get a bit more attention with this collection. So you can already see the traits here that, for example, network socks, that's Dong socks related, and this is cult related. And yeah, so I think added 6 networks: bank, cult, socks, cult, Wong, Void, Omega. And that was, I think, they were the biggest back then. So I wanted to give them a bit spotlight. Also bought a bit, basically I forwarded all mint funds to buying these tokens. It was not much because I sold these NFTs for 1 ape. So I think it was 500 ape, and also all royalties were used either to buy back the NFTs or to buy more tokens or whatever. What else, and support other people. The problem is it didn't make much money, so it didn't have much impact on anything. It was like $1,000-$2,000, which was routed forward. But yeah, it was more a sign, and also basically my first NFT project, which will be for sure also considered when I do something new.
How did the collections, like you mentioned, like a bunch of other ApeCoin collections that kind of acted like traits in these? I don't understand how that works. Can you explain that?
It's only the token. So you have here Omega, Void, and Omega is a token, Void is a token, Wong is a token, Dongsox is a token. And they all get the main trait. So the background and the colors of the lines is basically tied to the network. And you have then 6 main categories. And yeah, I also had a little hide and seek play in this collection. When you look at Omega, so at the first network, you see a binary code in the background, and inside the binary code was actually a private key hidden. And
that's really cool.
And you in this private key were some ApeChain NFTs. So I helped people to find it. I think otherwise nobody would have looked so far.
Is that just one Easter egg, or are there a bunch of Fade NFTs that have those hidden in them?
Maybe. No. If I am honest, not that anyone wastes his time, that was the only Easter egg in this collection.
That's wild. I love that Easter egg.
And yeah, it's still trading around. See this one vape offers, except that was myself. I tried around a bit my contracts. So yeah.
What about the? Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Nothing to say more.
I was just asking about the. How'd you put the art together for this, or what was your inspiration for the art?
I say that I'm not an artist, so I basically made with JavaScript something to make dots and connect it with lines, and then I made it with help of AI to a Solidity contract because it was too complex to do it myself, to shrink it down, and that's what's come out. I think some outputs don't look good, but there are also some outputs which I really like. And
yeah. Do you have any favorite pieces besides the Omega one with the hidden private keys?
Wrong and white. Wrong. I like the color combination. White is, I think, the black. But yeah.
All right. You said this was your first collection you've ever launched, or have you launched any NFTs before that?
No, I never launched anything.
Why did you choose Ape Chain?
Because Ape Chain is home. No, yeah. If I want to do something, I want to have my legacy on Ape Chain, and that was my first project, my first smart contract, which I deployed. So yeah, that also have some historical meaning for me then.
Were you involved with Ape Chain from day one? Or
yeah. Day one, I was searching for some ways to make some nice stuff, but it's a bit limited, or what I can do in Europe with Mika and the strict rules we have.
From here, G-Spot, do you want to pull up the OS Wiki website? And Frostyz, how did you tell us about how you first discovered and got involved with the other side?
How I first got involved, I was hearing this KSC stuff from Yuga Labs. I had to do it, did it, minted my 2 other deeds, got a coda, the coda which I still have is PFP, and then I got hooked and decided to make a project. Quite easy story.
Yeah, I read that you basically minted the coda, and then is it correct you started the other side wiki like roughly a month later?
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess what compelled you to start that?
I wanted to find basically a new business idea too, and I thought other side can get big. I was playing League of Legends a lot, StarCraft. Always these information sources gained a lot of traffic, and also were actually a good business when the user base is existing. So that was also a connection to this. So yeah, 4 years later, we still wait for the users. But I think we're in a good position now, and if there's something, we can edit quite fast and quite easily because the structure is very solid, and it's just now a plug and play basically, especially with AI. If you have a solid structure, you can just tell it what you want. He knows where to put it when you have well-documented stuff, and it goes so fast. Earlier, you had to work like 3 full days to get something new in. Now you make it in 15 minutes, so it's not comparable anymore. Also makes a lot more fun, if I'm honest.
Right. I looked through a lot of your posts, and you seem like a pretty cracked dev. Just I mean, like, it looks like you're just constantly shipping stuff for OS Wiki. Like, I was trying to find some like posts on recent updates, and there's like almost, it seems like a couple things that you're adding to it every week.
Yeah, I try. If I have an idea, I will immediately make it. If I get feedback, I will add it to the product. If someone does not like something, if I see bugs, I always try to fix it immediately. But yeah, it's a work in progress. Always something to do. And it's also quite hard to find product market fit currently, because it's hard to compete with OpenSea because there's the liquidity. We don't have the liquidity now. People don't really put offers on our page, which is hard because, as you can see in the sales feed, like 80% of the sales are offer accepts. So yeah.
So I mean, so I think you recently like released the API for OS Wiki to the public. Is that correct?
Exactly.
So I guess how can developers or people that would want to fund liquidity, how can they use the API to get involved?
There's a link on the bottom which says developers. You can see it now already in the footer. Left, down. Left. You left there. Developers. And there you got some docs how you can make listings, buys, offers with direct API calls from your coding agent or whatever you want to do. You can get an API key when you're logged in quite easily, just in your settings. It have little limits, and if you need higher limits, you can always contact me. So I'm quite open, as long as you don't spam 100 transactions in the second. It should be fine. It just needs to look naturally, and not. I don't want permanent undercut bots, because that's actually annoying, and I think that destroys the experience of collecting a bit. But yeah, that basically is our order book API. You can get our current listings, offers, buys, cancel listings, and make it via course.
Nice. I wanted to just pull that up at some point so you show developers how to get involved, because it seems like the API is a pretty big deal to getting extra users and liquidity on there. And it seems like there's a lot of advantages to using this over OpenSea, especially if you're collecting in our ecosystem, especially like all the information on there. Okay, so it's not, from what I could tell, it looked like OpenSea. Sorry, not OpenSea. Other Side Wiki didn't start as a NFT marketplace, and it looked like there was 3 major versions you kind of had before it got to where it is today. Can you tell us about what it started as and how OS Wiki evolved into a marketplace?
Yeah, sure. So we started it as information source, and we always had listing aggregations for marketplaces. So the browse functionality was always here, but we never had a buy button. The issue was I didn't feel comfortable to add it because it's handling with user funds, and once you have it, you want a solid setup and not something random wipe coded. So I put a lot of effort into proper infrastructure, using also payment processor, which is a protocol well audited and secure, so you can trust your assets with this. Yeah, so it was a revenue possibility for us, because we don't forward all the traffic anymore. What we have, we take the fee ourselves when it's listed with us, and can basically finance the product further. But product grow quite a lot. So there are a lot of small functions everywhere. But I think we have 3 or 4 main sections now. So first, information. Second, the marketplace. Third is our AI feature, which helps you to create MML objects easily. It's also something which is connected with a subscription. You can also do it for free, but only like 2-3 requests, because it gets quite expensive otherwise for us, because you need to pay per token. And then last, we have now the communities features, which is very likely used from other games, and also render pool, and also is a traffic source for us. And we have here the concept of an open page where you can add badges, and also users can mint without paying anything badges to the wallet. So, yeah.
Can you tell us more about those AI features, especially the MML? You said, is it world building, or is it like a library of other people's worlds they've already created?
We have here 2 sections, the MML gallery. So that's what users share for free. You could just click on something and then fork it to your AI editor. So if you now go here and then click fork into builder, then you get the code of the guy who did it, and then you could further work on it. You can click, here's a chat. So if you want to have something changed, you can just write here, say change this. Then on the top you have the scene, the code, the objects, assets. You click on scene, for example. You get here also a 3D view, and here you can then drag and drop objects around. So if you click on something, yeah, you get this, and then you can move it around. Yeah, and then it's also live preview on the other side. But when you do move the floor somewhere, you can see it probably a bit more.
This seems like a very simple way for people that don't know, like, have dev experience, to put together an other side experience.
Exactly. And on the right side, you could move around, jump around. So that's actually a live preview where you could directly test your stuff, which you just did. Then when you click on code, you see the whole code which is behind this. So this is the code which is written, and which then generates this on the right side. Objects just shows the object. It's a bit a mess when there's so much. So it's more if you then search one color to change maybe. And assets is just where you can upload files, and we host it for you. When you're not subscribed to us, we give you 50 megabytes. But if you subscribe, you have like 500 or 1 gigabyte. And on the left, you can just make a new conversation, and then just do whatever you want. And still work in progress, also limited to what is allowed in other side, but will be for sure enhanced when there's more information. It's also a bit a challenge to compete here with the cloud plans if you have a good data source, because they subsidize it so hard. And here we need to pay really the API usage. So if you use $20 of tokens, we need to bill you $20 of tokens. I think that's clear. Otherwise, it would be a cost negative stuff for us. It's more something for someone who never used AI and want to experience a bit and build something on the other side.
That's really cool. So you said the only thing they have to pay for is a token charge, basically, and then anyone can use it on your site?
We have 2 models. We have a monthly subscription, which you can pay, or you can just pay for credits and then use it. And you can pay with Stripe or with ApeCoin.
Awesome. I might have to try this out. This looks like something that I could probably use. How do you get it from this MML map into something functional on the other side, I guess?
Click again to the editor. So when you click, there again, the Explorer. When you have now nothing started, click back to the gallery and fork something in. Does not matter. Do something more easy at this. Fork into the builder. So and then you have MML URL on the top. And this is the URL which you need on another side. And you can put this then, if you have the editor roles in other side, into the other side page. And you can further edit it on the side here on our web page. And it automatically updates in the other side. So that's also a big benefit. You have everything out of the box. Don't have to switch to 3 URLs and just can further edit it here, have other side open, watch it evolve over time. And, that's just a little trick. You could stand on this, then it would shoot you away. I'm not sure when. Okay. But it's buggy and yeah.
Woohoo!
But that was also done just with AI. But that's the stuff which you can do. And you just need to be creative and prompt it a bit.
It's got to be like one of the simplest ways to get started with the other side that I've seen so far in terms of making your own maps. So I think that's really cool. Okay, so when you started Other Side Wiki, I think it was pretty early into like the other side's development. Can you like talk about what the other side was at that point, like before?
Other side was playtest revision, so nothing concrete and just a lot of speculation and people seeing some trailers and believing how it can look like. Now we have some persistence experiences, which is actually quite cool. But still far away from the vision we had all back when people spent hundreds of ETH, different stuff. But looking forward, what comes next.
Were you at the Other Side playtest in Berlin?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that event?
Yeah, it was actually a cool event. It was more a Meebit related event. And I was even invited, I'm not sure why, but met some people the first time, like Nash or Coda Armor, who have Believer and such people, and it was fun. Just arrived there. I think we had one main day where they rented a big gallery, which was really impressive. So on the top of the gallery was the Meebits logo. I came in, had a nice dinner, nice bar with some drinks, some artworks of Other Side to see. Also there was the old team still active with, I'm not sure who. That was Mike Sievers, I think. And yeah, then we got split into groups. Then we went up. There was a big room with a lot of computers. And there was then the Metropolis world, which was actually a quite cool experience when the first time you jumped in. And yeah, we played, I think, like 20-30 minutes. And then we had some small talk again on the downside. And later we went in a bar. It was quite cool.
I saw some posts from you about being grateful basically for funding from ApeCoin DAO and some and support from Yuga.
Yep.
Can you tell us about like what the process of getting funding was like back when the DAO was around, and then how they helped you?
It was a bit a complicated process, but it worked out. So you basically started to write the theory in the forum of the DAO, that you want to have a grant, write down a roadmap, what you want to do, the cost plan, and basically also present your product and what's the benefit for the DAO. Then it went through the approval processes, had some questions back. We also connected our funding with a cross-funding from external person. It's called Agora Marketplace, which also put additional funding into the company then when we got the grant. So it was then a double funding for us basically, which was quite nice. But shortly before our approval or our grant approval process came up, there was a change in the DAO that you need, when you request above 250,000 or something like this, that you need 69% majority. It was actually quite close. I think we got a 70% approval rate because Mochaverse was against us, and Mochaverse was a big voice. But nearly everyone else was supporting us. Also, Chat.co voted for us, which is actually in Mochaverse, which is a bit a contradict, but the Mochaverse DAO delegation was controlled from one person, which thought we should not get this. But finally it went through last day, I think 70 or 71%. And it was 2.5 years ago or 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. Maybe was 3 years ago. I'm not sure. Time is running. I think 2 years ago where we got the grant, and since that we rebuilt the whole product with an external team. So I got then three developers which worked 7 months full time with me on the product to renew it, make a solid basis, and yeah, which worked out quite well. But now I'm back building mainly alone because we also are believers in ApeCoin. We didn't sold every ApeCoin we got immediately. We hodled. And as you know, ApeCoin price went down a bit. So the funding got cut also massively. So I also have to save then on external resources and just trust my own skills. And with AI, the costs actually decrease. So that's also a good point, because you don't need professionals which you pay $100 a month, an hour, and can just make it with AI, which costs $200 a month. So it's a completely different game now. If I would now remake it now, it would be different, but still with external expertise, at least for the first 3 months. But then you can take it over alone with AI, because it's already so good.
Well, it seems like you're doing a great job keeping up with it. You're a one-man team at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying my best.
What is? Can you tell me some of the differences between OS Wiki as an NFT marketplace and OpenSea? Like, I'm particularly interested in all the extra information that you get on certain Yuga collections or other collections.
Yeah. So we have some specialities. One of them is, especially as we have other side wiki, we concentrated that the other deed experience is especially the best. So other deed expanded, when you click on the collection, you can see here actually both collections combined. You have the other deed and the other deed expanded in one view. You don't need to switch. And it's all listed in this list, which makes it quite easier to find the correct deals and the correct price, because it does not matter if you get an other deed or other deed expanded. Finally, you can still expand each other deed, which is the only thing which would block you not to buy. Another benefit is that benefit for us is that you fund our running costs. So if you buy here, we can keep delivering, keep the servers running, and keep doing stuff. Also, another condition is here, if you have a basic subscription, you don't pay any marketplace fee. So you can pay $20 a month and then trade without marketplace fee. But you still need to pay royalties, that's clear, because it's enforced. That's a strict approach on our platform. We enforce every royalty. So also if you trade a Bored Ape on our platform, if it's a listing from our website, you will pay 1% royalties to Yuga Labs. It's also a bit philosophy, and I think Yuga Labs needs money to sustain the business and also get the fair share. So yeah, but if you want to save the 1%, you can basically just subscribe for $20. Sell your ape, save then actually $140 and unsubscribe if you want to trick the system. But that's basically a way. But we also hope if you subscribe that you keep subscribed to our platform and pay then monthly $20 to us, and we can just use it to run the business. And I always try to add new benefits to the subscription model. For example, if you make community badges, you can make them for free. We sponsor the casts for everyone. So it's not expensive, but if you're not subscribed, we charge 10 ape. So it's a bit a mix, so which also should make it self-sustainable, because finally someone has to pay the gas, and if some pay the subscription, some pay the badge, it's a good mix and makes it a safe runner, and it does not really make us money, but it's a service to get us traffic, and I see it more as marketing initiative, so people get to our page, then maybe look a bit around and buy maybe some stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of these incredibly useful services that are pretty cheap here.
Yeah, but it went far away. If you now click, for example, in the Bored Ape Club, we also have for example, the family tree connected. Bored, exactly. So if you click on an ape, you can scroll down and see his family, if there's minted or not. Then we also have the information if there's still ApeCoin staked, for example. So you can go on the left when you close this again. And click staked only. Then you see a little ApeCoin symbol. And you can also go to the settings right top. Top right, more, yeah, there. One more, yeah. Display settings, and then you can show staked amount, for example. One down. And then you see, okay, this ape, okay, I have 94
nice.
ape, or 4,100 ape. But yeah, you have to pay 200 ETH. But yeah, the 0 ape is more like it's probably have 0.01 ape or something, but it still displays. But maybe if you look around and see then something coming to the floor with 10,000 ape, maybe it's worth to snag it and then just flip it or whatever you are doing with your NFTs. But you still see 1,300 apes have a little ApeCoin attached, which was quite fun. You could also now click to holders, for example, in the tab. So you have items, sales, holders. Up. Exactly. And here you see Jungle Green, for example, you have still 60 apes with ApeCoin staked. Or Ayua Labs, which is Jeremy, still have 39 apes with ApeCoin stake. So if they would be interested, you could write them, get your ApeCoin out. It does not make sense anymore, but it's just the information. So always the trades or the filter you select on the left also reflects to the sales, holders, and item tab. So if you want to know who have the gold apes, you see it in holders then also when you have it selected here. But then you need to get away the staked stuff. Exactly, and then say free launch have 5, nobody have 5, Adam have some. So that's a little connected, and you need to find it a bit out. And also you see the activity feed is also then adapting immediately on the right side to the only gold ape series, so you see the connection. I think OpenSea also have this now, but in the earlier time nobody had this. It was always just the items in the middle and not really connected to the whole page. But yeah.
I also saw a post recently, or someone was saying that they were using Other Side Wiki to find other deeds that still had codas attached to them.
Yeah, if you go to codas, for example, we don't really show, but in this list are also the codas which are still attached. So we show already 10,000 codas items, and that's actually also the codas with the other deed still. So if you buy one, it could be one with the other deed attached, which would be just a benefit for you because you get the other deed for free then. So we don't have a filter, so you will it then see when it lands in your wallet, or when you click around a bit and see it when you pop up. But I'm not sure how you could look now. You could look in the other deed explorer and search for a coda. No, marketplace. Other deed. Then you click now here, coda. And you see here coda 28479596. This would be then also in the other browser, but with the coda image. So then you would get the coda and the other deed.
Awesome. But yeah, I mean, especially within our ecosystem, there's just way more information that helps you make purchases on your site than on these other marketplaces.
Yeah, and the search function, you don't use it, but also works quite well if you go just there and enter POIC or coda. Should I actually board Ep.8 Cup, yeah, and then you just can click and go there. So it's also a bit easier to navigate here than always go to the menu because it's already a bit crumbled together, but it's hard.
And I wanted to ask about your fee structure. I believe you said you got 1% on listings. Is it true that 10% of the fees from those listings go to Burning Ape?
Exactly, we have 1% of listing fee, and for Ethereum we burn, I think, 20% we committed to, but maybe I think we even burned 100% with the first burn. It was not much, so we just swapped all ETH to Ape and burned it on Ethereum. And on ApeCoin it's actually easier because there we have direct the fee receiver, which is a burner, which basically splits 50% to us, 50% to the burn address. So if you buy here something directly, 1%, so 50% of 1% gets burned directly and 50% goes to our wallet. It's not much because the items are not so expensive, like for example a Bored Ape, but it also every trade which was Wikinative listing will make a burn and reduce the ApeCoin supply.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This whole site is like really props up the ecosystem in addition to being like super useful for anybody that's in Yuga or Other Side or Ape Chain. So I mean, I wasn't aware of how much better this platform is playing than OpenSea. It's definitely something I'm going to look at first, especially because with the liquidity, the prices are lower half the time on Wiki than they are on OpenSea.
Appreciate. And you also were just in the guide section. So if you want to make badges or whatever, user created content is there, which made really good guides to how to get certain badges. And yeah, you can also tip the creators there if you want, and just give them 1 to Ape. And they will get it directly in the wallet. But you need to confirm it. And they will for sure be happy. Yeah. MG is for sure happy then. I appreciate it. And
Okay, I got a couple more questions for you before we wrap up and move on to dong stocks. So, for one, why is it important for you to honor royalties for collections on your platform?
because I think the space will die if you don't honor them. Because Yuga burned a lot of cash, we have to be honest, and they need a lot of cash to realize the reality of other side. I still think they are well funded and well positioned, but if you don't have income, you just burn through your cash. And if you don't support principles how NFTs got big, I think we will just die and will never come back. I think it's not that hard to give 5% or 2% to the creator of the NFT. I think some creators get greedy now with 10% royalties. I think that's too much.
Yeah.
But we still would enforce it if they wanted. But we also display it directly on the top, which I actually miss on OpenSea. You don't see how much royalty you pay here, so it's always a shock then. If you suddenly want to sell and then see you have to, the creator wants 10%, which is for me a bit a robbery, but you have to accept what the creator wants.
10% is definitely pretty high if they don't have that like built into some kind of creative mechanics. Do you have anything planned that you can share with us for the future of OS Wiki?
Nothing concrete, but I want to share it.
No worries. I didn't want to push too hard to see if you had anything. And then last question for you. What advice do you have for someone that's a new founder that's looking to create something that contributes meaningfully to the other side?
Keep working. Don't stop. Don't get fucked when you have your first setbacks, and just keep doing your stuff if you believe in your vision. And also important, have some fun if you start out. So don't start with nothing, otherwise you have a side hustle which makes you money. You can then make your profession on the side with something else, but you should be liquid a bit to concentrate and have no worries about your short-term future, basically.
Thank you. Well, that's great advice, and your story here is very inspirational. I appreciate you joining the show. I know it's late for you, so you're welcome to take off if you need to. Otherwise, if you want to stay, we're going to interview dong stocks. But thank you for joining, and thanks for telling us your story and about Other Side Wiki.
Thanks for inviting.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Frostyz. And before we do anything on me, can I just also give just a major shout out to Frostyz? He's super helpful. He's involved with everything. Like you heard a lot of the details from this interview. If anybody who's listening to this or will watch this in the future, if you're ever looking for an Other Deed or an Ape, a Coda, anything, you need to go to that site, because I mean it is like the rule, like the golden, site for finding anything about, the history about it, like the values, rarities, anything you're ever going to buy when it comes to Yuga assets, you need to go to OS Wiki, because it is by far the best. That's how I've bought in deeds in the past. There's a lot of alpha in there, so you need to go.
Yeah, and I just want to echo too, Frostyz, I appreciate everything you do for the space and the collectability of Yuga assets, bro. I mean, I've sat on OS Wiki for hours, deed shopping or just deed talking with people that are looking. And obviously, I support your product, and I appreciate your support. It's reciprocated in other games and just through the space as a whole. So just thank you for coming up, bro.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I don't want to, beat the horse too hard, but yeah, like I don't know, it's very impressive, and you are just cracked as hell of a developer. So I'm glad that they focused on like helping prop up our ecosystem, Ape Chain, other side, and Yuga, because you're a huge asset. So thank you again. All right, Dong Socks, you ready?
You want to run the video, Grammy?
Yeah, let's run the intermission video real quick.
Sweet.
ネオンのジャングル夜を飛び越えて画面の向こうから叫びがバズってるグライミーフランキー歯を見せて笑う G スポットは指先でシャートを切り裂くスマホの光が瞳に火をつけて今夜も始まるよ猿たちの配信準備はいいかって世界に投げてコインの波間を一緒に泳ぐんだアビアビぶち上げろライブジャンプジャンプ月まで届けワンツースリーで勝って打って笑ってグリマーな夜に未来をつかまえアビ止まらないバイブス森の電波で夢を回せクライミングファンキー G スポットとクリプトの嵐を今巻き起こせ
How do you like the video, Dong Socks?
Love it. I wish I was that energetic. It's like Indiana Jones style. It's dope. Excellent work.
Yeah. I want to give credit to Blue Bebop, Blue Dreamer, but his handle is Blue Bebop. He does our promotional videos, and they're awesome. And he gives discounts to Apes and Mutants. So hit him up if you guys are looking for anime promotions or videos. Okay.
Awesome.
Dong Socks, you sure you don't want to have the microphone with the sock over it on screen?
No. I got my little daughter with me now, so I'm gonna be moving around a little. So if you hear any background noise, it's a little kid. So the sock didn't stay on every single time, so got a little one here.
No worries. Okay, so you're an artist first. Walk us through your history as an artist. What media you worked on? Before Web3 at all, just walk us through when you got started with art, when you got serious about it.
Yeah, totally. So I've done like pencil sketching since grade school, really. Got into some painting a little bit older. Then maybe when I got in like the teen years, I started doing more like kind of like wood sculpture kind of stuff like that. Off and on, nothing like super formal. Would do it for like, gifts, and made some like big art pieces for houses and, stuff like that. Nothing. It was never like in galleries or whatever, but I just love doing it. And it's a good release because lots of work I've always done has been kind of, technical stuff. Just sort of slowly as I got older, just graduated more into doing a little bit of digital stuff. I got interested in generative, or actually using like P5 for once I learned about art blocks. So I was kind of like pretty early in the art blocks like scene. Was probably, I didn't mint to squiggle, but pretty early on in 21 pre-apes. I got into some art blocks mints and just like fell down a rabbit hole of like figuring out how processing works, and I was just like really struck with that. So been dabbling with that for a long time. Also, digital wise, but then got involved with generative stuff once the user friendly tools came out. So I've had different kinds of collections come out. Sorry.
No worries. What are some of your other collections that you've put together before Dong Sucks?
I made a one-of-one Pepe collection, so 69 pieces, all one-of-ones. It was like early generative, so it started with generative concepts, and then they were all finished by hand using different kinds of tools. That's an ETH collection, and then I also on Ape.8 I have one other too. Sorry, terrible timer. Yeah, and then I have a kind of general collection on ETH called Resonant. Or I'm sorry, that one's on Ape.8. And then Donk Socks too. Donk Socks came out early in Ape.8. It was like in the first week or so, free mints. And got a lot of buzz from the coin I set up.
What's Resonant about? G-Spot, are you able to pull that one up on OpenSea? I've never heard of that.
Let me see if I can find it.
It was a small collection. I made it under my main Twitter, like besides the DonkSocks account that you know, is Professor. So my other handle is Professor Jasper. So I was that for a long time, like even early, in ETH and everything. So I released it under that. It's a 250 piece collection that's all done in P5. Did not get a lot of attention, honestly. I was a little bummed about that. It came out, I think, during some other maybe like big mint week, I think was maybe the reason. So just got kind of like, shuffled to the side, which was like very crushing because I spent like a ton of time, like working on it partly as like a skill builder for myself, but like I thought the outputs were cool. But it's there and I like it. But it's totally different, right? It's not like Dog Socks is obviously like a big meme kind of thing, but the Resonant thing is a little bit different. I can share some pieces later. You guys can put in links or something like that. But yeah, so it's kind of like my, I guess, breadth of art. Basically from like generative stuff, hand done stuff, that Pepe collection, Resonant, and then Donk Socks. And then I've made some other like really joke collections sometimes, like even if I'm up in like a late night spaces, sometimes I've made a couple of like really really small collections that I do in like a half an hour just to put out as like a joke as part of the space I'm in, that kind of thing, which I find fun. Good creative release. But yeah, so I'm all over the place, honestly. If it's like interesting, I'll do it. For work, I've done lots of stuff. I think that's partly why I'm involved in lots of different mediums. So like I was carpenter for a while. I've done lots of welding. I'm like a very handy kind of like hands-on kind of person. I just like learning new stuff. So anytime there's an opportunity to like jump into something, I'm like all about it, especially if it's a crazy idea. So yeah, that's kind of my, I guess, art background. Nothing ever formal whatsoever. I grew up in a house that was like, art is not a career. Art is like that's a cool thing, but like you need a job, which is fine. It's worked out fine, but I've always had it in the background as like a thing that I, do as like a release,
How did you discover the Bored Ape Yacht Club? Were you involved in the early days before you were mutant?
Yeah. So I was involved very early. I bought my first ape for 0.4 off of Pranksy, actually, and I did some early trading. I had a couple. I think at one point I had maybe I even had 3 at one point early. This is like a month after mint or something like that, and was loving it. Ended up trying to trade for a punk and got gutted basically. And then like the week after, the floor shot up, and then I was basically lost out for a long time, which was crushing. But I just love like the space, so I never really went away. I just kind of like found something else to do and just sort of stuck around because I just love it. Sorry, just one second.
Yeah, sticking around after getting fished for an ape after you caught it before the run, that's insane. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Yeah. Glad you got back to the club. Okay, let's get into dong sucks. So I was going to ask you about the backstory, but before we get into that, there looked like there's a pretty detailed video already. G Spot, could you pull up the video with the caption? For those of you who don't know my backstory, this should help.
Yeah, give that a spin.
With some sound.
Very bad. I yelled, "Oh my God, put a sock over that thing." And in that moment, something magical occurred.
Rewind it.
Big. So here's the thing. I worked at a gas station and had a stupid boss named Gary. One day I got a little overserved from 340s during my lunch break. Dumb Gary got super pissed and fired me. On my walk home, this bum named Ring Pop who hangs out by the liquor store asked me for money. I said, "Not today, I just got fired." He laughed and got up to follow me. While he was getting up, his robe, yes, he only wears a robe, opened up, and I saw his dangler. And it was bad. Very, very bad. I yelled, "Oh my God, put a sock over that thing." And in that moment, something magical occurred. Something big.
It's a beautiful short film.
Yeah, I don't know if it's winning anything at the Cannes Film Festival, but yeah, try to get people to the point pretty fast.
Special thanks to the librarian.
Yeah, Mrs. Rutherford, I've always played up as a accomplice as part of this for giving me library time to work on it.
So how did you come up with the concept for dong stocks, and why did you launch it? Unless this is
it came from a joke actually from one of my buddies. He was going through some lady problems, and we were joking how he's basically putting up the white flag, and then we were like out drinking and laughing and stuff like that, and the joke just sort of rolled into him just wearing a flag over his dong just to let people know he's given up, and then we were joking about like crocheting them, and that was like a joke that we just had about for like a couple of years probably. And then early on with Ape Chain, which is like, well, shit, let's, actually it was pre Ape Chain, like a little bit before. Like once I knew like the chain was going to come out, I was like, this is really funny. The people in like the ape community, like this would vibe, right? There's like a lot of funny people. So then I launched it as a coin actually first, and the coin, I think that was like I don't know, maybe that was like the first week of Ape Chain or something like that. But it like took off. It got a lot of like the actual Yuga team, like even Gordon bought a bunch. He still owns I think he's still the top holder of the Sox coin. And it ran up to like 400K market cap or something like that. I was completely unprepared for that, or like what that does when you have a coin that does something like that. Like your DMs are immediately flooded, hundreds of people. You don't know who is a scammer, who's like there to help you. And there were a couple like Yuga people that like were actually helping me like with the deck screener, like to like tell me what to do and stuff like that, to like make sure it was like validated and had all the links, all that stuff, right? And Melting Ice is one of them. Shout out to that guy. He actually has a trait in the actual NFT collection, the one that looks like the Bengals flag. He helped me out with the coin when I was like panicking a lot, and so I said I'll give him a trait, and he's a big Bengals fan, so that's where that came from actually. I think it's called like Good Deeds or something is the name of the actual trait. But that's a little Easter egg for where that one came from. But yeah, so that like took off, and then I was like, oh well, you need to have an NFT collection too. And I had mentioned earlier about the art stuff. I'm always like dabbling around. I've been playing with pixel stuff too in the background. So I was like, we're doing it. So I had been working on that pretty much maybe a little bit before the coin started, but then I was working on it like 24 hours a day after that to get it like done, and all the like socials stuff and set up and all that to have it ready, and then launch that on Blever, free mint, and then it sold out super fast, and then that's pretty much it. Sort of ran kind of from there, and part of the lore. I always joke with G-Spot about how it has like the mind share. Like half the spaces I go in, I feel like it only takes 10 minutes before I hear somebody reference dog socks or say something funny about it. So I love it. I think it's hilarious. Just that it keeps going. I'm not, in this for like, major like monetary gain. I just love the memes. I love the community and ape chain and stuff. And yeah, it's fun.
The sock stays on.
That it does, brother.
How I mean, so you launched the sock token before Dong Socks. I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah, the coin came out like I think it was maybe 2 weeks or something like that before the other. But yeah, it just like ran up. I think there was a lot of eyes on early Ape Chain of like, what could stand it, kind of like what's happening right now with Robinhood, right? Like, is there anything that's like there that's like cool that could run? So there's lots of eyes on it, and people thought it was funny and bought in, and it just kind of like shot up really fast. And then the subsequent, NFT thing to follow, to sort of like marry them together. I never did an
What's that? I think
Did we
you-
lose him?
Yeah, I might have lost him.
Fucking love the dong socks, bro.
Yeah, me too. It's a classic, and I think it's the first collection I remember Gordon buying.
It's the universal currency of ape chain poker nights, dog. It's the best.
Is that what you guys use?
Yeah, dude. No matter, dude. Honestly, dude. If I ever just print one day, I want to put up a Bored Ape for a poker tournament, and you can use a dong sock as entry still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, invite me to the next one. Okay, should we kick him and invite him back in, or
He can come back in on a duplicate. He's had to take a couple laps, but he'll come back through. Let me check the DM.
all right?
There he is.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry, that was weird. I was just standing in the same spot in my house. That's weird. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we were just talking about how I remember your collection being like one of the first ones that Gordon was really into and posting about because it was so funny. How does humor play into like all of your artwork, or is this like kind of specific to dong socks?
It's a mix, I guess. I kind of like go back and forth between like more serious stuff sometimes, or I guess maybe, I don't know if even serious is the word, but like maybe, more professional, but I just think it's fun, right? One of the things that drives me kind of nuts about all different kinds of art is sometimes it's so stuffy, like it's not like approachable for like common people. If you like turn a wrench as your job, you're like not allowed to like look at art because you're not like a fancy person. That drives me crazy, because it should just be like art is art. It's, if you like it, then you should get it, right? And so I just do that as kind of like a fighting back against that, because I just think some things should be funny and approachable, and some things, you spend more time on and they seem like a little bit more polished or whatever. But I just think it's important that art is accessible for everybody in all forms, So for myself, I just kind of swing back and forth between things that I spend, lots more time on, or like more technical, whether that's like, wood carving stuff where it takes like a really long time, or, like pixel stuff, which sometimes can be really involved, especially for animations, but generally can go faster, especially if you have a good concept.
Do you have any particular favorite traits or pieces that G-Spot can pull up from your collection?
Oh man. Let's see. The tiny pepper, I I love. I think it's a good time. I think it's called the grower. It's a grower. That's a good one. I have the Coogee sweater. It's like the Cosby. I think I couldn't call it Coogee, or I didn't want any legal thing, but it's like the Cosby sweater. So that for a shirt I like a lot. I also, this is like a random one, but there's some cases where it came out where the the tune is wearing a chaps no belt and suspenders. Like it just worked out like the RNG, and I just but like the concept of that to me is just hilarious. Of just picturing wearing chaps just with suspenders like connected to your skin or something like that. I don't know. Those crack me up too. But yeah, they all have some kind of like funny either like meaning to me or something that I've chatted about with somebody in the past. Most of them do. And I also had like later on when Abstract came out, like the whole penguin thing, I have a whole other DS collection in Abstract that just got basically nuked because the NFTs there don't move. But there's a whole bunch more traits in that one too. That was another free mint. So there's another 4,200 of those floating around somewhere. Lots of different wallets. So those something might happen. I don't know what to do with them now, but I don't like that they're just sitting kind of orphaned on Abstract. So maybe I could think about porting them or figure out something in the future. But I forget to even mention that. But there's lots of other traits on that too, which are really funny.
And I remember you're one of the earliest, like artists and founders on Ape.8. Can you tell us like what the environment was, like the Ape.8 trenches in the beginning when you were there?
Yeah, the spaces were that was the place, right? Like the late night spaces, like for me where I live from 10 p.m. to like I don't know 3-4 in the morning. That was where you're gonna like joke, connect, meet new people, and that it was a ton there. And then just sort of staying up with everybody in kind of like the community as they come in, doing giveaways, all kinds of stuff like that early on was like a big part of trying to make it kind of like a brand or something that's recognizable, a meme that people will remember. But the space thing was always like very major. Telegram was a thing but Telegram just feels very not safe generally for me. So I prefer, I guess I've gotten in the habit more of just vibing with people on spaces, and now with other side, like that's the place to go hang out. Bubbles thing is awesome. Like Mac's app, I don't know if anybody knows about that. Uncle Mac has shout out to that guy again. He has made that Bubbles app so that you can basically listen into Bubbles through other side remotely, which is awesome. But yeah, that's where to go now, really, to like connect. And I'm in there normally. It's pretty late at night when I'm running around, but yeah, it's good. It's a good time, and I can't wait to see where it's headed.
Is that still where you'd recommend people on Ape.8 like go to network right now? Would be these late night spaces?
Or another side, yeah, for sure. There's some. It's probably less of them now than there was early on, but there's some that are more scheduled. There's a whole calendar of, I don't know exactly what the link is now. I don't want to say something wrong, but there's a whole like social calendar. A lot of the recurring spaces are on that, and then there's a whole calendar for other side where there's all kinds of like other games. There's lots of like different kinds of meetups for communities and stuff now. So I think a lot of the early Twitter stuff, this was all before other side was really live. That has a lot of has kind of either those recurring spaces have died and it kind of like moved into other side, but there's still some that go on Twitter too for now, or X or whatever the hell you call it.
I like Twitter still.
Yeah, I'll call it Twitter till I'm dead for sure.
And also, obviously, people can check out other games. They're cranking out awesome experiences and places where you can network with people on the other side.
For sure. Yeah, they do a great job.
I'm wondering, with Dong Socks and your sock token, did you do any marketing or promotion for either the collection or the token before the mint, or was it? Was it mainly just like it was so hilarious that it took off right away?
Yeah, it was the token. Honestly, I don't even really remember at all. I don't think I did almost anything on the token because it was like when Ape Express was super new, and I just like put it out there. Maybe I did some obviously like retweets or whatever of it, but no, I didn't have like this big like marketing. I have no team. It's just like me and my phone. So there was no like major plan for that. I probably did a couple of weeks of random Twitter posts and stuff like that for the NFT collection, but no, I don't have any other like. There's no influencers. There's no like paid crap. None of that stuff. It's just it's all vibes, which I honestly feel like that's probably why it stuck pretty well, stuck around, is because it's like organic. If people think it's funny, they vibe, and that's how it has gotten this far, which I love. So yeah, there's no paid shills or anything like that.
I think it was. I aped Dong Socks, and what was I going to say? Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, that Garga shorts with the tiny pepper. Hang on, go up one row all the way on the right. That's. Oh man,
Dang.
that's a banger. That's a banger right there.
Damn.
Sorry, go ahead, Grammy.
No, I just I remember that I feel like one of the reasons it took off was because it was one of the first original meme coins on Ape Chain back when Ape Chain was still like back when meme coins still had activity on Ape Chain.
Yeah.
Like there was Curtis and there was like a bunch of other like derivative of ape memes basically, but I feel like Dong Socks was the first just pure hilarious meme that I saw that I aped into on the chain.
Yeah, I appreciate that. There's all the Solana shit coins and stuff. Those always just drive me nuts because it's when one hits, then the next 2 weeks are like just a million copies of that same thing. It just drives me nuts. It's not even like fun, kind of, right? So having something that's just like original and funny, and if it's not funny, it's not going to go. But like, you try and just see what happens. But I just like the original stuff. So all the Solana coins just drive me crazy because it's just kind of like noise, But it wasn't like that early on with on Ape Chain, like with Ape Express opening up early on. That platform was dope, and I think they're just refitting it all now. But yeah, that was like there was a lot of cool, really funny stuff on those early weeks and months on there for sure.
Did you have any hurdles that you had to overcome or struggles either with launching the Socks token or with Dong Socks? I know you'd mentioned that the volume kind of took off and you weren't ready for it.
Yeah, I would say like listening to Frostyz is like, I mean, I'm probably he's like fire and ice with me. That guy's like so technically just like gifted and like he's incredible. I'm the complete opposite with that. So I have like a million more ideas than my skills allow. Just lists of things that I want to do and just have no fucking clue even how to start. But I would say,
DM me your ideas.
Yeah, we need to really buddy up because just like listening you go through all that stuff, I'm like, oh my god, I wish I had like 1% of your chops, man. It's incredible. But yeah, I would say like the skills wise, I mean, yeah, like the coin just took off and that was just more of like honestly luck. The NFT thing, let's say not really like problems per se. I think at least early on it was kind of hard for me to decide like how to try to keep the community together because you have like Telegram, you have Discord, you have Twitter groups, you have Twitter Spaces, you have like even like varying lists, like people will just set up a site and then you have like a mailing list and you have like all these ways to like try to keep everybody like involved, and that's can be a lot, one to set up and two to manage. So I didn't really do that much of that. I preferred the spaces, got used to that through X and just like DMs with people and stuff. So that's where I mostly stuck to try to like keep it together. But I would say that's probably like, at least for me, like that would be the hardest kind of like thing of like how do you keep people wrangled together and like keep it all moving. But early on the spaces helped do that a lot. And because that's how it was for a while. I think it's, like I said, now it's sort of like kind of ingrained with people as like a, a meme for the chain. So
G-Spot, can you pull up the DS Putt Putt video post? And then Dong Socks, can you tell us about Dong Socks Putt Putt, which I think was your submission for an Ape Hub contest a few months ago?
Yeah. So let's say my only exception to my horrific lack of skills is a decent amount of determination. So I in a past life I did some 3D modeling of stuff, kind of like for engineering, more like technical engineering stuff. So I'm like familiar with how to like make objects and stuff like that. So the whole ODK is like so exciting to me, because being able to just hand all the creative people in Ape Chain like keys to like you can literally make whatever you want, games or not, hangout spaces or whatever, like that's just insane to me. So I wanted to be just very, very involved with it. And um, the take on the putt putt thing is also, I just think it's hilarious. Like, what better way to get a community around a pretty simple but funny game is to whack balls with socks and varying things. So I just sort of like jumped into the ODK and started playing around and found it, at least the environment building, to be pretty fun and like calming. Place
Lost him again.
I saw his I don't know if he's like working on other side avatars, but basically I saw a golfer with their dong sock extremely extended, and they were using it to like navigate this putt putt course. So I was wondering if he's working on other side avatars. Sorry, give us a second with the Dong Socks internet. But he'll be right back.
It's a pretty sweet putt putt course.
Yeah, it is. Especially for someone without development experience, putting this together in ODK. I think he was also part of the like game dev boot camp that Tropical is hosting or has been hosting. So I can ask him about that as well.
Yeah, Dong Socks crack, bro. Man of many talents. He came on stream one time and I saw his woodworking engraving that he was doing of apes, and it was pretty sick.
Nice. He's back.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know what happened again. I got a couple more minutes here.
No worries. Yeah, we can wrap it up. But okay. I just wanted to mention I couldn't find the video, but I thought I saw a video of like a character with their own like dong sock they were using to fling these golf balls around.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be other side avatar?
Yes. Yep. And that'll be kind of like a socketed thing, like how in most games you get a sword or a shield or whatever. You'll be able to equip or unequip different kinds of socks that have different kinds of traits and stuff like that, and hopefully make it pretty funny, very memeable, and a place to chill and laugh at each other too. So I have like kind of a tiny clubhouse area in there also, but yeah, the file you're seeing there is more like the course I've been building, and then the other ones are kind of like the other file I have where I'm working on the character movement.
I wanted to ask. It looks like you worked on like a sock racing game too. G-Spot, if you have time, you can pull it up. Oh, there's the video. That's looks sick.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so there's the wizard staff there.
Yeah, gonna need one of those avatars ASAP.
Yeah. So that's the goal, right? If you look at it and you laugh within like 2 seconds, then that's pretty much my goal of anything I've been making on Ape Chain. So yeah, that's the game. But then have all kinds of different equipable things, and hopefully they'll do different stuff. You're looking at kind of like the driving range kind of roughed out thing that I have right now, just for testing. There'll be a lot more polish, but yeah, that's what I'm chipping away at night.
Okay,
So is this going to be like the one avatar, and I can rotate my my socks on it. Is that how this is going to work, or is this
Yes. Yep.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah. Right now, I'm not exactly sure how I'll get all the different collections in there. That's like definitely past my skill set. But
It's going to
having
be
one,
rough with this a grower, though. You know what I mean?
it will.
Really
Yeah.
close to it.
I also have nip lasers. So there's some other video, maybe you'll find it in the timeline, but there'll be another button you hit where like instead of blue beams coming out of your eyes, they come out of your nipples. And that'll actually move the ball too, which is really funny because once I figure out how to do audio, it's it's really funny. So every time they spin or shoot a laser, there'll be like a different funny quote that comes out. So that's the goal.
Nice.
I got a couple more questions for you, and then we can wrap up. It looks like you had produced like a sock racing game. G-Spot, if you have time, you can pull it up. But I wanted to hear more about Tropical Virtual's game dev camp. Can you tell us what that was like?
Yeah, it's awesome. I recommend anybody who wants to mess around with ODK at all to pay attention to Tropical and the community. The render pool is just dope. So all the builders are in there, so you can get tips. Like, there's no dumb questions. That's another thing. Like, you don't have to have literally any experience. Like, if you know how to turn on a computer and you like want to learn, there's people there to like help you out. Because the more the merrier in there. There's lots of great ideas, and everybody's sort of learning all this stuff together. But yeah, it's amazing, and I'm really glad Tropical's got like the kind of like attention now, and like the quote unquote authority from the Yuga team to like lead a lot of this stuff, because it's really informative, I think, and that's how you build like a really big strong community, is with lots and lots and lots of builders. I think Ape really has by far the best community of any of the chains I've ever been a part of, and I've been doing this for a long time. But to get that same kind of thing with all the builders too, I think is so important to get other side really like big, So yeah, very highly recommend coming into Render Pool and checking out anything Tropical puts out. It's really, really good stuff.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, and this is just me screwing around with the latest ODK release, because there are in the latest one, there's like basically car options. In the older ones, there was not necessarily that as a game mode. So that was obviously first thing I do within 5 minutes is make a giant sock and drive around and whack balls with it. So I don't have any future like major plans for this besides Socket League comes to mind, kind of thing, So maybe, but I'm definitely still working on the putt for now, and just keep it fun and try to actually finish one thing before I jump into the next one.
All right, last question, then I can let you guys get to bed and get to your kids. You have a very different perspective from Frostyz, a very different style. What advice do you have for someone that's looking to launch their own collection on Ape?
Jump in the middle of other side or spaces, or like get to know, I think, lots of as many people as you can. It's like, don't be scared to introduce yourself. Don't be scared to just like go on stage and start talking, even if you know literally no one. I have terrible anxiety and stage fright with stuff, and doing that has helped me a ton over a while, especially talking about something so ridiculous as dog socks. But it's just like good. I mean, people are always like very welcoming, especially in Ape Chain. I've seen and tried this on other chains where like sometimes you go to spaces and like they don't know you, or if you don't have the right PFP, it's like some sort of like dance battle, whatever, like some kind of like street fight thing. It's like very weird. It is not like that on any Ape Chain space I've ever been on. So if you're new, just go introduce yourself, say hey, even if it's literally your first day, you don't know anybody, and just talk. And if you have like a collection that's launching, use more of those spaces to kind of put yourself out there, explain what you're doing, and just sort of like get the temperature of like what's going on. Because you'll meet lots of people, and some of them will vibe with probably your project, and that's a good way to launch, right? Is to find your small community of people that think what you're doing is either great, funny, incredible, whatever you're going for, and then sort of build from there.
Well, thank you for that advice. I definitely agree with you, and want to emphasize the part where you said in the beginning, joining spaces, just talking, even if you don't have even if you don't have anything to say, you don't know anybody in the space. Like same thing with me that like really helped me overcome anxiety with speaking basically just by joining a bunch of spaces. And like you said, the Ape Chain community is particularly supportive. So I totally agree with you. But okay, thank you guys both for showing off your projects and for making the time to join us. I appreciate you, Dong Socks and Frostyz. But we'll wrap the show up here. So thank you guys. And G-Spot, you want to cue up the intro?
Yep.
On the chat?
Absolutely. Y'all have a blessed one. Dong Socks, Frostyz, thanks for coming through, bro. The sock stays on.
Later. Sock stays on.
ジャングル夜を飛び越えて画面の向こうから叫びがバズってるグライミーフランキー歯を見せて笑うGスポットは指先でチャートを切り裂くスマホの光が瞳に火をつけて今夜も始まるよ猿たちの配信準備はいいかって世界に投げてコインの波間を一緒に泳ぐんだアピアピぶち上げろライブジャンプジャンプ月まで届けワンツースリーで勝って打って笑って振り回る夜に未来をつかめアピアピ止まらないバイブス森の電波で夢を回せグライミーフランキースポットとクリプトの嵐を今巻き起こせ